Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and this is my second video on After the End CK3, the Trailwalker. Infamous raiders, nomadic horse lords, and weed smokers, these followers of the Spirit of the West are a colorful faith with many myths, gods, and as with all religions in After the End, they have their own interpretation of the event. In CK2, the Trailwalkers were all part of a single faith, one with all the lore, map coverage, and memes necessary of becoming a truly great part of the mod and setting. However, it lacked the granularity. Until now. In CK3's version of After the End, the Trailwalkers will be their own religion with sub-faiths that enhance the flavor of each region that the Trailwalkers are present on across North America. There are four main branches of the Trailwalker faith, with the Sage Stepper faith that... Hold on. This sounds familiar. Is every religion in the mod just four faiths with one oddball that breaks the norm? Ew. Wait, what was the next one I was going to cover? The modernists? For gods. Starting off our list of sub-faiths today are the Real Roaders. They're the Real Road Faith? It's a name that caused me to scratch my head a lot. The most common, and similar to the classic Trailwalker faith of CK2, you would be forgiven for thinking their name refers to the worship of a particular highway they consider holy, or reading too much into their name, you might think they would be religious zealots who believe that their way of life is the only true road one can walk. In reality, though the latter example is almost right, their name is a mistranslation of the word railroad from ages past. I know. I felt stupid when I eventually found that out. The Real Rotors place great emphasis on the Iron Trail that once connected the Silver Gates of the Far East to the Golden Gate of the Holy West. These nomads give the Trailwalkers their reputation for fierce raids and determined fighting spirit, having besieged the very gates of St. Louis on many occasions across the ages. These warriors do have codes, however, laws they consider virtuous for every human to follow, a trail that mankind strayed from once in the past. The way back when, bringing the Almighty's endless love and patience to its final horizon. He summoned the Man in Black, telling him that it was time for man to come around, to remove the barbed barrier for a time, allowing all sorts of fearsome critters and vicious beasties to travel freely from the mythical lands of the dangerous frontier to our own world of the range, in addition to all the magic of the realm. Dust Riders are the Sahara nomads of After the End, traversing the Sonoran Desert in search of new sources of water. They rely on zealous faith in the Almighty and seasonal rains to keep them from despair, with terrifying tales such as that of El Charro Negro to keep them from the temptation of straying from their trails. The Black Horseman is a cursed debt collector, bound to his bones to forever wander for a foolish pact made with the Man in Black. Now, in search of those he can sway from the path, he carries such individuals away to their doom. Once they mount his steed, there is no stepping down. Interrangers are found amongst the isolated valleys and mountainsides of the American Rockies, valuing honest work for oneself and the community, while shunning the trappings of wealth and status. They shun those who exemplify such vices, even forcing these members from their community to fend for themselves in the wilds forever, forced to live without any of those things they once took for granted, to find a new trail to walk. The Midnighters are a people spread across the northwest reaches of North America, a land where half the year is shrouded in darkness and lights dance across the sky. A battle between Old Bear with his Star Clan and the fearsome critters who try to permanently snuff out the sun. Bears are sacred creatures to the followers of the Midnight Sun, for while humanity can do little to help with the battle amongst the stars aside from keeping their holy fires lit, bears' spirits rise to combat the critters alongside their leader while their bodies hibernate. Midnighters praise the ancient trickster god, Ravencrow, for his theft of fire from the Peacemaker. For how else would they have been able to aid Old Bear in his fight? At last we arrive to the final of the Trailwalker faiths, the oddball, the Sage Steppers, the weirdos that everyone shuns. Only after humanity was slaughtered in great numbers did the Almighty and the nameless man in black return the barbed barrier to its place, keeping the fearsome critters from entering the range and further harming humanity. However, there remained many critters within our realm trapped in the range by the barrier. This is the situation the ancestors of the current Sage Steppers found themselves in. Those who would one day be known as heretics among their fellow Trailwalkers were once backed up against a wall. On one hand, the wilds are full of fearsome critters, and on the other, mountains. Mountains home to hairy men. Now, when we speak of hairy men of the mountains in an apocalyptic setting, you may be inclined to think of Chad barbarian clans, or perhaps Paul Bunyan. However, these hairy men of the mountains look less like this or this, and more like Bigfoot. Evil Bigfoot. A whole bunch of evil big feet are known to have fought against mankind and the Almighty throughout history. As it turned out, however, those who traveled to meet the hairy men made the right choice, for the men of the mountains put aside their differences to work with the humans against the great threat they both faced, teaching the Sage Steppers how to ward off the vicious beasties by burning sage, and showed them where it can be found growing plentifully. Now these outcasts from Trailwalker society wait in their mountain homes for the day the Almighty releases the steeds entombed in the earth to gallop across the land for a final reckoning for their betrayal or salvation. Perhaps in the future I will make a follow-up video going deeper into the gods and mythos of the frontier. But for now, that is the end. I thank you all for watching and hope to see you next time.